What is up, world? You are in tune to the KnoitAllz podcast, and you definitely got your player partners here, man. We got Tate. What's poppin', Tate? How you doing today, man?
What's good, Mon? I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm just, mourning a good friends. He's had a couple losses this week. Lost his father and his brother. I'm thinking about him and his brother and his mother and the entire family. So prayers out to the Emerson family.
Prayers up to the Emerson family, man. We definitely will continue to lift that up and keep that in prayer. Big G, how you doing, man?
Man, just trying to continue to dig myself out of this snow, bro. We had one heck of a snowstorm this last week, so it's still cold in the OHIO, but we're going to get through it, bro.
Man, definitely. And you, like I said, you've got it locked with the KnoitAllz podcast, and we want you to make sure that you hit that like button, you smash that subscribe button so that every time that we do go live, you will get the notification that we are here. But before we get into anything, man, we're definitely going to get into this. And first of all, I definitely got to say this, man. Listen, y'all should have stuck with the football team. Washington, y'all lost all the way around, man. Y'all should have stuck with the football team. I don't know what possessed the Commodores. What is that? The Commodores, the Commandos? What's the name?
The Commanders.
The Commanders. Man, y'all sound like the Commodores, like a group. I sound like I should be singing in some shiny suits. Listen, what is wrong with y'all? What is going on with this name? Tate, did you like this name change? Did you like it?
Man, it don't bother me. I'm out here, man. I understand the connection to just, the military and all that. The commander in chief is here. So, I kind of understand it. It was some better options I would have went with. I personally liked the Red Tails, but my understanding is if it wasn't going to be the Commanders, it was going to be the Admirals. So I like the Commanders better than the Admirals. So, and that uniform is going to be pretty hot.
Yeah.
So, G, what you think? You like this? You like this name change, G?
Well, I just got to make sure I let the KnoitAllz listeners know that Ma gonna hate on them regardless if they was called the greatest of all time.
I felt the same way. Yeah,
I felt it come through the screen, bro. So, but I like it. I like it because I really like their uniforms. That all black joint is killing them, man. And that all maroon with the little thing on it.
You got the DC patch on the sleeve.
Yeah. They I like it. I like it a lot.
Man. I like the HTR, man, on the uniforms. I wish they'd kind of kept that, man. Figured out a name to where you could keep the HTTR, the hater kind of thing right there. I like it. I mean, first of all, I would never hate on the Redskins. The Redskins nor the Eagles get no hate from me. It's the Giants. If I ever mention any team in the NFC East in a horrible way, it's always going to be the Giants. They're our mortal enemies. I don't want nothing good to happen to the Giants at all, ever. When they lose every game on their schedule, I'm excited. I'm not upset or feel bad for none of their players. Literally, I don't like the Giants. So to go from the Redskins to the football team to the Commanders, that's nasty. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Well, we'll see. We'll see because I think they got a couple of positions that they got to solve. But they're definitely going to be competitive in what me and Tate done deemed the NFC least versus the NFC East.
You can say that, but it ain't going to be that for too much longer. But, man, let's talk about this, man. Let's get to this. Big G has been talking about the coaching bias in the NFL. His favorite word, bias. bias. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
he says it with a big B, you know, bias. You know, when it comes out, it don't just roll off the tongue. It's bias. It's bias. You know what
You
I
ain't
mean?
saying it right, bro. It's bias. You got to put some emphasis, put some heart in it, bro. You ain't saying it right. You got to say the bias, man.
But you guys, I got to put this out here, man. I got to put this out here. Tate, G, how y'all feel about some of these coaching hires, man? I mean, we got one coach who's suing the NFL, right? And then we have all of these other coaches who are getting second and third chances who don't deserve them. Tate, I need to hear what you think about this, man. Really, honestly, I got to hear what you're thinking about this.
Man, it's just like every other facet of life for minorities in America, man. You know what I mean? I mean, this is no different. I mean, it might be at a higher percentage, a higher volume of you know discrepancy far as the coaching. We got one black coach out of 32 NFL franchises. One. I'm not too good with math, but the percentage on that is probably about what, man? That's like 3%.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we make up about 14.5% of society in the United States. And but the thing is, capable and qualified people are being passed over.
Right.
But what it is the nepotism in the NFL, man. You know, coaches, former coaches and current coaches get their sons involved. They eventually end up getting jobs with no experience because their dad was a coach.
Right.
63 coaches in the NFL are related by blood or by marriage.
Right.
And only 10 of them are black coaches. So 53 are white. So the nepotism runs rampant. Then you have these owners. Most of these owners are old white guys. You know what I mean? And
not most, all, Tate, all. But keep going, bro.
Yeah, I guess you're right. All. Yeah. I mean, it was one was old white lady, Chicago Bears.
Shaka Khan down there in Jacksonville. Outside of that,
yeah. But so, they predominantly the mass majority are white old men, and they don't want to turn the keys over to the franchise, using that analogy, to a black coach. They want, they're used to hiring people that look like them. And one thing, the Rooney Rule was good in its intent, but it really doesn't work because they have a few token interviews because that's what they're required to do. And then at the end of the day, you can't legislate desire. You know what I mean? You can't legislate with the desire when these owners who they have to put in that seat. You know what I mean? There's no way when Brian Flores got fired from Miami, and it was said because he was, had bumped heads with a lot of people. He was difficult to get along with. But Bill Belichick's difficult to get along with.
Right.
He came from that tree. He learned under Belichick. But, there's no way I thought he wouldn't have a job like immediately after he got fired from Miami. And he nor no other black candidate has got a job. So
correct.
It is what it is. I pass to you, Big G, to get your thoughts, but those are mine.
Man, I've been screaming the same thing.
Tate, hold on. I do have to say this about Tate's comments. They were very insightful, and you came with numbers, and I appreciate that. Because I did not know how many coaches were related. Y'all need to take note. That was some good stuff. It's on you, G.
Yeah, I've been saying the same thing for weeks and months. I remember when we was on the show about 2 months ago, and Miami started out with that slow start. And I told the fellas, I was like, man, they're going to fire Flores, man. And sure enough, it happened just like I said. And it's just all that bias, man. We in a society have come too far to have a Rooney Rule in a professional sport where 87% of the players are African American. 74% of the players are African American. We have come entirely too far. And it's not just the head coaching issues. I got issues with African Americans and minorities not being general managers, with being assistant coaches. I mean, this is ridiculous. And the problem is Tate hit it out the park with the numbers as far as the old school and how they're all connected through a family tree. But it gets old when you have more than qualified applicants that should be in positions as head coaches, defensive coordinators, and offensive coordinators. There's no way in God's green earth Byron Leftwich should have not got the job in Jacksonville. He's one of the all-time greats of Jacksonville. There's no way that Eric Bieniemy should not have a head coaching job in the NFL with him coaching the Kansas City Chiefs the last 4 years. There's no way. There's no way that Brian Flores, in my opinion, should have never got fired. He went to the playoffs on a team that was dismal. Then the next year had a bunch of injuries, a bunch of COVID to deal with, won 8 of his last 9, ended up with a winning record and got canned. Is there any – and then you turn around and Josh McDaniel, who we all know is a bum scrub coach, they get rid of him and the Raiders, who they had a minority coach when he was Hispanic, and you fire him and bring in Josh McDaniel? All you're doing is putting John Gruden Part 2 in the same spot. It's ridiculous, man. And I've been on my pedestal for a minute.
You know what I'll say about this, Big G, is, and I agree with Tony Dungy. What Tony Dungy said this, it was really good. How can you – we need to stop interviewing – they need to stop interviewing coaches during the playoffs. They need to stop that, right? Especially the coaches that are in the playoffs. You know, it's really hard for, you to interview a coach and he's planning and plotting for an important game, and then you're going to sit him in the seat and have him interview, and you're asking him all these questions about your team and about your organization. You know, it's really hard for him to do that, right? And I think it's unfair. But you can bring in all these other guys who hadn't been doing anything, and yeah, they're going to knock the interview out the park. You know what I mean?
The science behind that, though, Mod, is this. The reason why they want a head coach in place is because the timing of the Senior Bowl. See, what a lot of folks don't know is that the Senior Bowl in college, they get 3, 4, 5, 6 interviews and gets hands-on to deal with those college kids coming out. So if you're going to not let the what you call it go on, the hiring process go on, then you got to do something about the Senior Bowl, because the Senior Bowl is what really drives you wanting to have a head coach in place, because that starts the whole draft process. You know, these guys got to be ready by April. So, you know, there's a lot of little nuances this has to happen. But I agree with you wholeheartedly about them interviewing coaches during the playoff time, because you're not going to get the best effort or best energy because they're trying to secure the job that they currently have. So I agree.
Facts. And Damian Tate, what's up, Damian? Josh Daniels was caught cheating when he was with the Broncos too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean,
Josh Daniels has an 11-17 head coaching record. As a head coach in the NFL, he's 11-17. What is he doing with a job?
Let me say this. Touching on what Big G said. I agree that Byron Leftwich, the guy from Kansas City, Eric Bieniemy, yeah, I agree that they should have jobs. They both have won Super Bowls the past 3 years. They, outside this year, they won the last 2 Super Bowls. One of them.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And any white offensive coordinator who had their teams in the playoffs, winning Super Bowls and stuff, will get an opportunity. Brian Daboll's got the opportunity out of Buffalo, and they lost in the second round this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but more than that, Big G, I think they should get a job. And if they were white coordinators, they would get a job. But more so than that, the past coaches, the Leslie Frazier's, the Todd Bowles, those guys have proven themselves as coordinators once again that were previous head coaches. And all kind of white coaches get, are retreads and get recalled. But those same black coaches don't get those opportunities. I think they might not more deserving, but if you gave them a job and they've already they had the experience, so they're even more prepared because they have been coordinators, coaches, and coordinators again, successful, not getting another chance. But you get guys like McDaniels get another job,
right?
You're mute, Mott.
Yeah, you muted.
Doug Peterson got a job, and he definitely doesn't deserve it.
I was in the Steeler group this week. Somebody said And the Steelers group, I wish Doug Peterson was our coach.
I sure seen it, man. I felt like throwing my phone across the room when I seen that, man.
I commented on the thing, man. I like, why? Because he has 2 losing seasons out the 5 seasons he coached. They had that one hot year. They went 13-3, and Nick Foles got him a Super Bowl.
Right.
You know what I mean? But outside of that, he was 4-12 one year. He was another losing season. He was 9-7 twice, 13-3, 4-12, and another 7-9 season or something like that. But I don't personally think he's a good coach. I think he's a good quarterback coach. He may be a good OC. But if you remember his last game in Philly, he took Jalen Hurts out and put the other kid in that was trying to lose the game like on purpose.
Yeah, Gunnar Minshew, trash.
No, that wasn't who he put in. They didn't have him in.
They didn't have Gunnar Minshew?
No, it was the kid that
it was
Peterman, maybe.
Yeah, Justin. Peterman. Yeah, Peterman. Yeah,
it was one trash kid. That's all I know. He was trash. Garbage, hot garbage. Damian Tate said it's not just football; it's the entire U.S. workforce. While affirmative action is a positive, I do agree that it's a positive. In what is it, the Rooney Rule or something like that we have in football?
Yeah,
but they have to interview a coach of color.
2 minority candidates, but that's why I said that really don't work because
it doesn't work because it's like
interviews.
Yeah, right, and they exposed the workaround. That's what just got exposed by Flores. Flores got a text from Bill Belichick, congratulations on the job, and Bill Belichick sent the text to the wrong dude. So even though you got to interview the 2 minority candidates, they had already made the decision that who they was going to hire, and so they was just wasting the dude's time. So there's got to be some changes to the Rooney Rule.
And send it to the wrong Brian.
Yeah, man.
The wrong Brian.
Hey, and I'm going to say this too. What about like Lovie Smith and Herm Edwards, man, who we know is qualified coaches, man.
Wait a minute.
And they don't get no shot back in the league.
Wait a minute, G. That's hilarious when you think about it.
Yeah.
This fool sent the text to the wrong person.
To the wrong dude.
He drunk text a coach.
And congratulations on getting the job. You're going to do such a great job and blah, blah, blah. And the dude looked at the text was like, dude, you ain't even talking to the right dude, bro. What is you doing?
Well, no, first Brian Flores texted him back and said, oh, do you know something I don't know? Thinking like maybe Belichick was saying, oh, you going to get the job.
Right.
That's not what it was, though.
Right. Total shenanigans. It's a facade. So, I mean, I get affirmative action, but there's got to be some critique to that Rooney Rule.
Hey, Big G, being a Steeler fan, man, and being a fan for much longer than the 15 years Tomlin been there. But don't you think a lot of the Tomlin hate can be potentially tied to race?
Absolutely. Yeah,
I think it is too, because Steeler fans love Bill Cowher, and Tomlin's record is equal to, but no, a little better than Bill Cowher's record.
Correct. Correct. And I will say, and it's just my personal opinion, I don't think Tomlin has had the talent that Cowher had to work with. If you go back and look at that run that Cowher had, where we should have had more than one, I'm telling you, there's no way in the world the Steelers shouldn't have had more than one Super Bowl. That talent was unbelievable.
And Cowher's coaching defense, Cowher got his franchise quarterback, Big Ben, for 3 years. Late.
Right.
And Tomlin had him the entire time.
Right. But the overall talent.
Other pieces on the team may have been better.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
you got Rob Woodson, Carnell Lake, Levon Kirkland.
Neil O'Donnell wasn't a bad quarterback except for the day he felt like he wanted to. His kids was tied up in the basement. I still feel like
that whole conspiracy theory. Jerry Jones played the mafia.
There was something that happened. I mean, I ain't even gonna lie.
Jerry Jones paid the mob to tie his kids up in the basement because he was throwing the ball to Brown for real.
I appreciate it. That brother was just throwing the ball over there.
He gave Dallas they 5th Super Bowl. He secured Larry Brown's family with generational wealth.
And who went on to be a bust with the Oakland Raiders? Straight bust.
Listen, he was a system dude with the Cowboys. We knew he wasn't that good. I mean, he was a system dude. You're a nickel cornerback. Come on, man. I mean, for real.
Playing opposite of prime. Down there winning, man.
I mean, listen. It is what it is, but I'll take it. I appreciate it. But so in the end comment on this, you guys, is that something has to be done. Something has to be addressed. We got to figure out a way to address this. And maybe it's, with the GMs, addressing it with GMs first, and then, letting the GMs pick the coaches. I don't know what, I don't know.
That ain't going to work, because you can't have a $2 billion franchise and say, and be an owner and say, I'm going to let the GM pick the coach. That ain't going for that.
That's right.
Jerry Jones ain't going for that.
That's right. That's right. There's no owner in the NFL that's going to do that.
Now we do.
Understood.
We do have a potential black owner in the waiting for the Denver Broncos, Robert Smith.
Yes,
he's a engineer and tech guy, investor, worth like almost $7 billion, and he is the 450th richest person in the world. I think he's the richest black man in the United States.
Yeah,
but he's richer than 26 of the 32 NFL owners. So
correct.
It seems like he got the bread to back it up and should get in.
Yeah, but he's catching flack.
Colorado is a pretty liberal and progressive and open state. So maybe that be the first place that we get some traction there. You know what I mean?
Hopefully so, man. I mean, like I said, something has to be done. We have to have this addressed. There needs to be equal opportunity for coaching in the NFL. And speaking of the NFL, the only thing that we had to look at today was the Pro Bowl. And everybody, is not too excited about that. I don't see too many people out there watching or even tweeting about it. But who was the MVP and defensive and offensive, Tate? Who was the offensive and the defensive MVP?
The AFC won 41-35. That's 5 in a row for the AFC. That's the longest streak in the Pro Bowl history of one team winning consecutive games. It looked like they were playing flag football out there, man. But I understand it though. I mean, but still gonna be a little bit more of a level of physicality. But so the winner was the AFC. The defensive MVP was Max Crosby for the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, and it was in Las Vegas. So he was home, won MVP. He had 2 sacks, like 3 quarterback hits, and a couple pass deflections. And Justin Herbert was the offensive MVP, quarterback for the Los Angeles Chargers, one of the young guns up and coming.
Young gunners.
He only threw for like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. But they was mixing the quarterbacks in and out. I was watching, one funny part was Mac Jones, the Patriots, was in the game.
Yeah.
He broke like a 60-yard run, man, and it was a penalty. But he's like, I'm gonna run to the end zone. So it was a penalty, so there wasn't gonna count. But he still ran full speed out to the end zone. He got to the end zone. He did the gritty. Mac Jones did the gritty.
And Mac Jones looked like he ran a 5.2. He didn't look like he had no speed at all.
So what do y'all think about this foot race between Tyreek Hill, Michael Parsons,
Nick Chubb?
What's my guy's name? What y'all think about that?
Nick Chubb was in there.
Nick Chubb, and then
it was trash. It was trash. Nobody was trying.
Diggs.
It was Trayvon Diggs. It was.
Nobody was trying. If it was a real race, the cheetah would have smoked them all.
I think they was all trying. I think Tyreek Hill wasn't trying.
Tyreek Hill wasn't trying at all.
Right.
The cheetah would have burned him.
Michael Parsons is faster than Diggs and faster than Chubb.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill wasn't trying.
Yeah, Hill wasn't.
Because he finished 4th.
Yeah, if Hill would have been trying, he'd have won that race. But I'm just going to tell you, literally, Michael Parsons is fast. God damn.
Yeah, he's a 4.4 guy at 240. He's a 4.4.
No, he's a 4.3 guy.
4.3.
He's a 4.3 guy. And Chubb is a 4.4 guy and got spanked. And Chubb told him before the race, definitely I'm going to pop you. It reminded me of what happened when you talk mess and we playing Madden. We on the sticks together and you talking mess. When we were kids, it was like, oh, you could beat me. Let's go out in the street. That's kind of what it was. That's kind of what it was.
Yeah. But I think the NFL's got to do something about Pro Bowl weekend, because I know they don't want nobody to get hurt and all whatever else. But see, the NFL is chasing the NBA.
Yeah.
And, All-Star Weekend is like that thing, man. So, it's got to do something. I don't know if it's got to be a skills thing or something's got to happen in order for the NFL to get that pop because the Pro Bowl is flag football. There's nothing serious going on, out there in the game. Ain't no hitting. It's touch football.
They did have a skills challenge. Russ won the quarterback skills challenge. He was throwing darts.
Yeah.
So we got a comment from Lamar. Lamar said Tomlin hate from Steelers fans just look like OBJ hate from Browns fans is definitely a result of race. I can agree. I can see that, Lamar.
100%.
I mean, because they sided with Baker Mayfield so quick in that little, between whose fault is it, OBJ or Baker's? You know what I mean? OBJ, with the help of his dad, OBJ Senior, I guess he would be OBS.
Yeah.
So with the help of OBS, got out of there, and now, Odell going to play for the championship.
For the chip. Yeah.
And about to get a payday beyond because he's a straight up unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. So somebody's about to pay that dude major bread for his services. Got a payday coming.
I think definitely he fell into the right situation and he went to the right place, and this is going to pay off for him. I don't see the Bengals. Sorry, B-Dirt. I just don't see the Bengals pulling this one out. The more and more I keep looking at it, I can't see it. I can't see it. Definitely when we're sitting and we're talking about our sports news, man, and we're talking about the things that we normally talk about. We don't just get on the podcast and have these informative, insightful conversations. We're having these all across social media, Twitter, Twitch, even on Facebook, and definitely on TikTok. We're having these conversations. And I ran across an interesting conversation, and it really was one of those that kind of puzzled me. And having had several friends who played on NFL practice teams, this comment in this TikTok video kind of took me by surprise. It was an NFL player, and he was talking about their salary, definitely the salary that they were making, which is between $300,000 and $400,000, is not enough. It's no money, right, for the rookie contract. And basically, he was just making it sound like that it was really no money, and it was
a rookie unrostered contract,
rookie practice team.
On
the practice team, you make $242,000. That's starting, and if you're which is $9,000 a week. And if you are a 2-year vet on a practice team, you're making $14,000, and you're not going. So you're getting paid in one state. You're not getting game checks like everybody else. There's a lot of this involved. But the process, the thing of it is, at the end of the day, they're walking out with $175,000, $150,000. The average American only makes $48,000
a year.
$150,000 after taxes and everything.
After taxes, after you paid your agent. And literally, you can't say that's not a lot of money. You can't say that that's not life-changing money, because it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not one of those things that you'll never have to work for the rest of your life, but it's giving you a good start in life. I think, and then I'm gonna let you guys chime in. I thought that, and I had to say, the problem is you want to kick it like the ones that make 50, 60, $40 million. You're trying to live like them, and it's a lot of angst. And a lot of my friends who have played on practice teams, and I got to say this too. Do you know in the NFL, part of the collective bargaining agreement is that you can only get in pads 12 times a year?
Correct.
So on a practice team, 12 times a year, we're in pads. And then on top of that, we're in shells the rest of the time, which is helmet and shoulder pads. And I'm 19 to 24 years old, running around and doing that for 150. Come on, man. Yeah. What did you think about this comment, Tate? Talk to me, man.
Man, I mean, I agree with you. That's a lot of money. I could live sweet off $14,000 a week. You know what I mean? But you know, you gotta consider, Mod, it's everything is relative, man. You know what I mean? So when he say that ain't no money, you know, if he played for the Kansas City Chiefs, he's saying that ain't no money compared to Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? Yeah. That ain't no money. But it goes back to that it's being relative. You know what I mean? I use the example all the time. I'm from Ohio, where Big G is at now. They buried with snow, right? I've been out here in the DC area about 17 years now. And it get cold here, but don't get as cold here as it get there. So my first few years here, Joker was like, oh, it's cold out. It's going to snow. And they get a little dust in the snow, a little half-inch of snow. And they losing their minds around here. I'd be like, this ain't nothing. It ain't even cold out. But I've been here so long now that the cold here is cold to me. So when I go home and it's cold, that's super cold. But again, that's relative. You know what I mean? To where you at. So to where these players at on the scale of their earnings, you on the practice squad, you practicing with Patrick Mahomes, who getting $40 million a year. You know what I mean? And you making $242,000 a year. So when he say that ain't no money, that's compared to everybody else that he is around.
Agreed.
I feel it.
Agreed. But and G, before I tune back, give me your opinion. What do you think about this whole thing?
Well, first thing is, man, I got two comments. I got a relative, man, that played for the Buffalo Bills practice squad several years in a row. And the guy invested in himself after making the practice squad 3 years in a row and ended up buying 3 rigs and drove rigs for the rest of his life after his playing days was over. And right now is a millionaire. So, I mean, it is relative, like Tate said, but it's a matter of how you invest. Second thing is, I always pay attention to what players do as they go into it versus what they do while they're in it, right? And I'll never forget when I saw the story about Chad Ochocinco, right? And Chad Ochocinco, his first 2 years in the league, he didn't have a house. Matter of fact, he didn't have an apartment. He stayed at the practice facility with the Cincinnati Bengals. All his meals was free. There was a place for him to take care of his body. He had a locker room. He had everything he needed. When he needed to go and get away from it, he got a hotel room, or he went and hung out with one of the Bengals, like he stayed over Carson Palmer's house a couple of times. But Ochocinco stacked his bread. Now, even though he's done some crazy stuff over the last few years, Ochocinco is one of the most wealthiest players right now in the league by being conservative and stacking his money. And Ochocinco was a second-round pick. So it's not like he didn't have like a little bit of change. He had nice change. So I say all that to say that these young guys who are complaining, and by the way, I'm not going to put the player on blast that Mod had the conversation with. But, dude, I'm going to say this. You need to be ashamed of yourself, because we looked up your bread. We looked up how much you made. We saw how much your house just sold for. So we looked all that information up, and you on Twitter and all whatever else social media chirping about, I'm taking one for the team and I'm going to sound off for the young players and all whatever else. Man, get up out of here, bro. Them dudes got a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that anybody would want. Man, let me be able to rewind the clock and go back 28 to 30 years and make that bread. Oh, I'm a millionaire.
So what y'all are saying is really good. And Tate, it is relative, because get this. And when you, one of the persons that I have a relationship said the thing that he hated the most is he bought a Navigator when he got his bread. He spent that much money because he said when everybody was rolling up, everybody's watching everybody. And they get out in the locker room, they talk about it. And you think, man, we too old to have peer pressure. But I mean, that kind of stuff happens, right? In the locker room, you can be forced. That's why I like people like Kawhi Leonard, who's still driving his car from college. I like people like Sterling Shepard, who hadn't spent, the money they got from their rookie contract, or somebody like my guy Lynch, Marshawn Lynch, who is still, just spending endorsement money and ain't touching the money that he was paid. I like the fact that there's some financial literacy that's being handed out in some places. But I think the thing that bothered me the most about the comment is you're acting like, $150,000 is no money when the average American is struggling. They're $48,000 to $50,000. They're just barely making it by. Come on, man. Don't be that insulting. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that.
Again, I agree with you. I don't think he was being insulting, because he's looking at things from a different level. You know what I mean? You're right, though. That is a lot of money. That's why I said I could live good off $14,000 a week. Mm-hmm. No problems, no nothing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But the thing is, and with the players you mentioned, the players that don't have the most money is the players that act like they don't got it while they getting it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you got players. Who was I thinking of? I got to come back. I lost my thought. My bad.
Well, I'll say this. Cara J says, salary doesn't matter if you can't grow your wealth and understand budgeting. You have to live below your means. Amen. Say that. Sending love from Australia. Thank you for watching from Australia. I appreciate that.
Hey, Cara. But hey, so I was gonna say, I said, the players that keep money is the players that act like they don't got it while they getting it, right?
That's right.
So I was watching, the podcast, The Pivot. That's a good podcast. Shout out to The Pivot.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But the other day, Taylor Lewan from Michigan was on there, was a guest on there, and he had on some Vans, right? And Ryan Clark had on some nice Jordans. And some came up, he's like, oh, there's some Taylor Lewan, like, oh, there's some nice shoes. He said, oh, yeah, Ryan Clark, you just some Jordans. He said, what you got? He said, got some Vans. He's like, oh, man, Ryan Clark, you need to get you some Jordans. He's like, no, they too expensive. These Vans cost $60, and I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what? And he's a millionaire.
Yeah.
I think he signed a contract like for $47 million or something like that in his last contract. He's one of the best offensive tackles in football. He say, no, them Jordans too expensive. I got a closet full of Jordans. You know what I mean? I'm saying that I don't have nowhere near the money he got, so maybe I need to do something different.
Yeah. To Kara's point, she's right. She said if you can't grow your wealth and understanding of budgeting. I read somewhere where Warren Buffett had bought a Suburban that was hail damaged as his main car, and that was what he was rolling. Come on, man. I mean, people say, here's the thing that really hits me to the heart. I don't have to show out for you, man. I look good for me. I ain't got to, but people, just like what I said, they were telling me when they rolled up and they parked next to the Maserati, or they rolled up and they parked next to the Testarossa, they rolled up and somebody had a private driver, it just make you feel a little, I can see where it make you feel like you're a little, but at some point, you're here for you, not for them. You know what I'm saying? Now we're a team and we're going to function as a team, but man, how I spend my money, I shouldn't have any type of peer pressure on that. There shouldn't be any kind of pressure to go out and do those kind of things and spend money on stuff that just is frivolous.
We talking about 21, 22, 23-year-olds too, though. I mean, I had to get to the point where I'm at. I worked when I was working. I worked in an office environment, and my office was a hallway down from the owner and CEO of the company, worth $2 billion. And you would see people come in, and my director and people go do lunches and do different things with them. It's stuff I knew my money wasn't gonna do, so I didn't even try. Like I could do that stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna drive a Ferrari to work and park in that parking garage. I'm driving my Toyota Highlander to work. You know what I mean?
To work,
right?
Yeah.
But you know what that comes from too is that a lot of the guys that make these NFL rosters on their collegiate teams, they're like the alpha male. They're like the guy who was the guy, and they don't, a lot of them just can't understand when you take that next jump, because like you came from high school when you was better than everybody. And then you get to college, and most of the time, if you make the NFL roster or you're on a playing team, you was an alpha guy on your squad. Now, when you jump in, you got the elite alpha, so with the elite alpha, not only does the money come with it, but the prestige and the fame. And some guys just can't get out of their mind that I'm not the man anymore. I'm just here. This is all business. I'm just here to collect this bread and move on.
Big G, you talking about that? You talking about them guys just that dude? But look, you gotta recognize. I keep it to the Steelers. One side you got Alex Highsmith, the other side you got T.J. Watt. Alex Highsmith can't do what T.J. Watt can do.
That's right.
As far as from a money perspective, T.J. Watt just signed for $29 million a year. Alex Smith was a 3rd-round draft choice 2 years ago. He ain't got a second contract yet.
Right.
So he probably making what, $800,000 a year?
Yeah. He can't do what he do.
$29 million a year.
I don't know. I think the league minimum is 600,000.
660,000.
Yeah,
the league minimum, and for a 2-year vet, it's 1.075 million.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
He just played his second year. He just finished his second year.
Yeah, so they gave you probably got a salary bump and then incentives. If you're getting incentives if you're hitting them, right? Because those are built into your contract.
You usually get the incentives once you sign a second contract, though.
Yeah.
Well, but even in your rookie contract, there are incentives built in.
Okay.
Right. Sacks, tackles for losses, interceptions, pancake blocks, receptions, whatever.
Definitely.
Passing yards. Yeah, it's built into.
So man, we gonna move on, man. Damian Tate had a comment earlier. He said, "Remember the '69 Jets? Joe Burrow is better than Joe Namath. He is. Joe Namath was. He in the Hall of Fame, but I ain't never seen somebody wreck his trash. One day me and Tate was looking at his records, and we were looking at definitely numbers. Oh man, his numbers are horrid. If you guys and Know It All Land can go look up Joe Namath's numbers, them are the worst numbers that's ever.
Joe Namath has a losing record.
Correct.
I don't want to say for certain. I don't remember. I think he is real.
He had more interceptions than touchdowns.
That's what I was gonna say.
Correct.
Yeah,
I was gonna say. But if it's not more, it's about equal.
Yeah. He has more interceptions than touchdowns. You know what I mean? It was bad. Me and Tate just was sitting and shaking our head like, get him out of the Hall of Fame. Like, for real, you guaranteed one game, man. Get him out. This is, for real, those records
he wasn't that good. He made his name off his notoriety. He went to Alabama, played for Bear Bryant, came to the Jets, guaranteed that win. Was the ladies loved him, wearing mink coats, making pantyhose commercials. The Joker was wearing pantyhose. They loved Joe Namath's legs.
Yeah.
He was doing pantyhose ads for legs pantyhose.
Wow.
And it's in the Hall of Fame. And that sort of goes to the conversation that we've been having back and forth on our text line about certain dudes that deserve to make the Hall, because we was talking about the quarterbacks. The greats are leaving, have just left. Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger. Not too long ago, we lost Eli and Peyton, and Drew Brees is gone. So Tom Brady gone. So, so who do all those guys deserve to be first or second ballot Hall of Famers? Well, if you got a dude like Joe Namath in the Hall, you better believe every last one of the dudes I just ripped off should be first or second ballot in. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it.
Joe Namath ain't even got half the stats that Phillip Rivers got. It's laughable.
But you can't just compare the stats there, because it's a different era.
It's a different era. It's definitely a different era.
What Joe Namath can always say is he got that ring, though.
He got that ring.
And so much now we live in a championship culture. They don't necessarily count or care about what you did on the field. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, we already talked about the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, Lamar Thomas.
They got to do something.
Definitely need to fix the Pro Bowl. I don't know that there's anything, Lamar. I'm just gonna say this. I don't know if there's anything that we can do to fix the Pro Bowl, right? Because you don't want players getting hurt. You've given the skills challenge, and of course they're throwing money at these people to do that. You're throwing a bag at you to go out and run, or they're throwing a bag at you to do the skills challenge like Russell Wilson did. But I don't know that there's too much that you could do on the Pro Bowl.
Oh, I got a way to fix it. But go ahead, Tate. I got a way. I was
going to say, I don't know if you can fix the game, but what I'd rather see is if you make the Pro Bowl, if you get picked to the Pro Bowl for what you did on the field, and you get invited for that weekend, just like you was going to play the game, but instead of that, you have a Pro Bowl combine.
Yeah.
You have a prize, a bag for each position, $1 million. And the running backs, whoever, you do all these drills and stuff, and whoever grade out the best get that bag.
Yeah.
And people love to watch the combine. They would love to watch these all pros.
I think that's a good one. I think that's a good way to fix
and
it.
I also think what they need to do is play it 3 weeks after the Super Bowl, and no prize for the losers, winner take all. If you play it 3 weeks after the Super Bowl, winner take all for the bread, they come into play, bro.
Nobody's doing that, G. Nobody.
Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't you?
It's time to rest. It's time to rest after that.
I think they might get. I could be wrong, but like 75,000 to the winners and 50,000 to the losers.
Yeah,
that ain't a whole bunch of money to them. And you talking about 3 weeks after the Super Bowl? Oh, them boys in Cabo, they in Costa Rica, they doing their thing now. They're not trying to come back.
But you know, when we was kids, they played the Pro Bowl after the Super Bowl. The Pro Bowl didn't used to be played before. The Pro Bowl used to be played after. And it wasn't today was like touch football. But back then, they still hit a little bit, you know. They still hit a little bit.
It's all relative. Them boys, that little bag that's getting back then, say it was 25,000 if you win and 20,000 to the loser. It meant a lot more then than it mean now when Joker's making 40 and 30 million a year.
Yeah. So I think I like Tate's. I like Tate's idea. Not to say that Jesus bad, but I think Tate's idea actually gives some credence to competition. So it's still real competition. Who can bench the most? Who can bench the most? You know what I'm saying? And each of in the bench, whoever wins the bench is getting a $10,000 check. And then whoever wins the overall competition is getting like $100 grand. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff at that point, people are showing up. People are showing up.
That's what I used to do for a profession, man. Come up with ideas. So there's nothing for me to come up with an idea. You know.
Hey,
there you go. There you go.
Tate is right on it too, because think about it. In the NBA, everybody wants one. The dunk contest done took some hits because you ain't had some of the killers in there lately. But like that 3-point shootout in the dunk contest, oh man. Bros is chiming in to watch that, man, because we really want to see who got the skills to pay the bills. You know, so for the NFL, that would be right on the same line.
What we want to see in the dunk contest, though, man, we want to see LeBron in the dunk contest. You know what I mean? Now we want to see Ja Morant, but dudes come in and get so big right away, they don't feel like they need to do that. Kobe was the last one I remember that was a young beast.
Yeah,
they got in the dunk contest.
Kobe Bean, man. And I mean, you know, literally, I don't think you'll ever see another. I mean, but I ain't gonna lie. The one that was really good was just a couple of years ago.
Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine.
Oh, that was really good. Yeah. That was really good.
Aaron Gordon was robbed.
Yeah. But I mean, Dominique Wilkins,
Dwayne Wade cheated. That's the year that the dude from the Heat won it, Derek Jones.
Yeah.
But Aaron Jones and Levine was good, and Aaron Gordon and Levine was good, and Aaron Gordon and Derek Jones was good too, though. That was two dudes back-to-back years.
I'm gonna tell you, this is not gonna be another Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins.
Could you imagine a dunk contest with Zion getting in shape and him and Ja going at it? Oh, that would break the bank. That would break Zion in shape.
Him, Ja, and Braun. Put Ja, and Braun in it.
Oh my God. It would be phenomenal. It'd be the greatest dunk contest of all time.
Who else is a star that's a good dunker that you like to see? But a star player.
Edwards from Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah.
That boy can jump out the gym. Man.
Edwards got bounce.
Yeah, he got bounce. He do. I don't know. I mean, he up and coming. I'm not saying he's not. He didn't even make the All-Star game.
I would want Gordon and Levine. I would want Gordon and Levine to get in that one too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like Gordon.
I want both of them to get in that one.
They're not stars. I mean, Levine's an All-Star for the first time this year.
Yeah, but they're dunkers though. They're dunkers. They
dunkers.
Yeah, they dunkers.
I mean, bring the dude Derek Jones back. He a dunker.
Yeah,
I'm saying people want to see star power though in the dunk contest.
You got Zion in shape with Ja, with them dudes. Oh, that's a dunk contest. $1 million. $1 million for the winner.
That dude for the Hawks, John Collins, is a nice dunker too.
Oh, he can jump out the gym. Gym.
He a little too tall. He a little too tall. Don't look as nice. You know what I'm saying? When you're a dunker, it's got to look nice.
LeBron 6'9".
Yeah, but LeBron's be looking nice. I mean, he got held the other night. I ain't even gonna lie, he got held and did that reverse. I was like, woo, hey, big boy, I see you. That's what I'm talking about.
Look, LeBron sometimes just do it to let y'all know he still can.
Just let you know he still can. Absolutely, man. And
speaking of LeBron, Mike, let me bring up my Cleveland Cavaliers.
We were definitely finna do that. I think this is one of the best trades that I've heard of in a long time. See, people are sleeping on Carousel LeVert. Carousel LeVert was actually a really, really, really solid piece for the Brooklyn Nets before he left. I mean, he was getting buckets, definitely getting buckets before he left. And now he is a part of this new regime down there in Cleveland that's not doing too bad. Talk to us about that, Tate.
Man, the Cavaliers, I'm on them again. Shout out to Lamar, who's watching the podcast. Me and him both diehard Cleveland Cavs fans, man. So, shout out to Sweet T for sticking with us. Since LeBron left and came back and left again. We've been trash since LeBron left this last time up until this year. But, they've had 6 first-round picks since 2018. They drafted Colin Sexton. Then they drafted Darius Garland, Kevin Porter Jr. I wish we still had him, and Dylan Windler. Then they got Isaac Okoro last year and Evan Mobley this year. So they have all those players with the exception of Kevin Porter Jr., who they had to trade because he was having a little rant in the locker room with the GM. Shout out to Kobe Altman. Has done a great job putting this team together. People wanted Kobe Altman fired. JB Bickerstaff's doing a great job. But yeah, that Carousel LeVert trade, man, they gave up little or nothing. Yeah, we know that. That's what we talking about, Damien. But they traded Ricky Rubio, their first round pick this year, and the second round pick, which is the first pick of the second round as it stands right now. Mm-hmm. So they gave up Ricky Rubio's expiring contract, which is $18 million something. Carousel LeVert's salary is about $17 million. So they fit with each other, and they gave up that draft capital this year. They did get a second round pick back also, but they don't need the picks to get all this young talent that's actually starting to coalesce and play well together. You know what I mean? You bring in that what they needed since Colin Sexton got hurt and Rubio was hurt. They needed another tertiary playmaker. A playmaker besides Darius Garland who can
Carousel LeVert.
Yeah, can be that second playmaker and get buckets.
Carousel can get buckets.
He can score 42 against the Lakers like Friday night.
I was just gonna say he can explode for 40 at any given time. He can get buckets, man.
And he from Ohio. He wanted to come to Cleveland. Oh, Donovan Mitchell, a good dunker too.
Oh yeah. That's Bob.
That's Bob.
That's Bob. What's up, Bob? Hey, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna ask the question, Tate, because you the resident Cavs fan. Do they move on Sexton, get another piece, and go all in to get the chip this year? Do they move on?
I've been hearing just a little buzz since this trade, man. I follow a lot of the Cleveland sports writers, a lot of the Cavs podcasts and all that stuff like that. And talk is before the deadline Thursday right now, they could move off Sexton and try and get another piece. I mean,
could they pull a Buddy Hield or D'Angelo Fox out of Sacramento? Could they pull that and bring him in?
They're not gonna get De'Aaron Fox because he's a point guard. He already making 150. They gotta pay Darius Garland next year.
Could they get Buddy Hield though? Could they get Buddy Hield?
They could potentially get Buddy Hield, and that would be nice. I mean, so there's so many ways they could go, man. I never know what Kobe Altman's gonna do. And we talking about this and Lauri Markkanen hurt. He been a nice piece. He could be on the way out. Package him in Sexton and get something big. You know what I mean?
I thought about this. Put him and Sexton together and go get CJ McCullough out of Portland.
That wouldn't be bad. I think CJ making a little too much money. CJ making like $30 million a year, and I know Lauri Markkanen making like $16 a year, and Colin Sexton just getting like 7 or 8. So the money don't all up there, and we already paying Kevin Love and paying Jared Allen, and gotta pay Garland next year. So I mean, you got to kind of watch the books too I mean, you know, but hey, I would love that.
I don't know if you trade off more your youth. I think you keep some of your youth. You know what I'm saying? But the only thing that scares me about Colin is that Colin is gonna come in and start taking shots away from everybody else. I mean, Colin is gonna do that.
If they keep Colin though, I mean, he got to go to the role of off the bench scorer though.
Right.
I mean, you bring him off the bench, tell him go get buckets with Kevin Love. That's one of the best bench units in the league.
Hey, and Kevin Love, I got to say this. I got to give Kevin Love his props. Kevin Love, man, I mean, we was talking about Garbage City a few years ago. I don't know what happened. All I know is that he is playing inspiring basketball right now for the Cavs, man. He's got them young guys believing that they can win, man. For real.
Payday,
Coach.
Payday said, I don't think Sexton and Garland are the future for the team, but anyhow, that's not a move that they can make right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, Garland is the future. Garland is second best player right now behind Mobley. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Payday need to get his fancy football game up.
Straight trash. straight trash. Come on, Pay.
But hey,
Robert Thompson said, "What's up, fellas?"
Potentially right now, Cleveland one game out of first place. The All-Star game is in Cleveland in like 8 or 9 days. You know what I mean? JB Bickerstaff could be the coach. I think Jared Allen's going to replace Kevin Durant. They got 2 All-Stars.
Yes,
they
sir.
got Evan Mobley and Okoro in the Rising Stars game, and it's in Cleveland. Evan Mobley going to be Rookie of the Year. Jared Allen could be Most Improved. Kevin Love could be Sixth Man of the Year.
Yep.
And JB Bickerstaff could be Coach of the Year.
Jared Allen, another Texas kid.
Oh my God, he beats it out the other night against Charlotte. He had 29 and 22.
Jared,
right.
He was just grabbing and turning and dunking on cats, man.
Yeah, man. Payday said, can't go for the chip now. Got all the young building blocks. Get the vets in free agency. Don't sell young picks. Okay. I can buy that for $1.
Yeah,
I hear it.
I don't disagree with that, but I think this pick with Carousel was a good move because they already got young players. They got Mobley, Allen, Garland, Okoro. You know, that's the young core right there. And Sexton still right now. So I mean, they didn't need to bring any no young players. So they gave up two draft picks. They didn't want to bring in 2 more kids right out of college. You know what I mean? They do need to add a couple little, free agency pieces, some veteran leadership and stuff like that. That's why I like Rondo on the team, even though he hasn't been playing with because he can't shoot. But he and Darius Garland here. He telling these guys with Kevin Love, they've been through the battles. They know how to win chips. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's important in team and culture building.
Playoff Rondo anyway, though, Tate. He ain't going to show up till the money on the line.
That's
but when
true.
the money on the line, Rondo going to handle his business, bro.
That's true.
Playoff Rondo gets buckets.
Shout out to Sean Rivers, man. Thank you for rocking with us, man. Definitely, we're getting ready to get out of here, you guys. If you enjoyed the content that you were watching, make sure that you press that like button, smash that subscribe button. So when we go live on YouTube, you'll definitely get that notification. Thank you guys for y'all's interaction today. Do you guys have anything before we actually get out of here? Robert Thompson said the Cavs are gonna upset somebody in the playoffs this year.
I think
I'll buy that for $1 as well.
I think they win a series. But no, before we go, real quick, I just want to say, man, I want to thank all the people for joining us, man. A lot of familiar faces out there. Payday, Bob, BT, Sweet Tea, Lamar, Carr in Australia. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in to us and checking us out. We hope to see you back next week. We're always going to talk about something fun and different. So just check us out. Stay with us.
Yeah,
definitely.
Sure.
And Big G, you got something?
Yeah, the trade deadline is 4 days away, man. I want to see what big time things happen because I got a sneaky suspicion that there's going to be a couple of headliners that's going to move teams, that's going to shake the league up. So y'all tune in for us next week when we do the analyzing of what happened with the trade deadline.
It's going to be the trade deadline and Super Bowl next week.
And the Super Bowl, sir.
Yeah.
So we might need to go on Friday.
We're actually gonna go on after the Super Bowl.
But we might need to go on before the Super Bowl too, between the trade deadline and the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we'll definitely end up doing it. But we
hey,
want to make sure.
You think Harden for Simmons? I heard been hearing that too.
Okay, let me say this real quick, man.
So wait. I heard it, right, and I still hear it. You get off James Harden. Do you get better in Brooklyn? Are you better?
I don't know if you better, but I think Kevin Durant and Kyrie can carry the offense, and Ben Simmons just bringing every. I mean, you got to give a little more with Ben Simmons to get Harden. Another piece, one piece anyway, a draft pick or something. But I think you got your defensive stopper, Ben Simmons. You got a playmaker equal to Harden as far as playmaking, not scoring, playmaking. He's younger and he's under contract. Harden is unrestricted next year. He can opt out, go wherever he wants.
That's what I was going to say, Tate. The issue is if you're the Brooklyn ownership, James Harden's going to walk. If they don't win the chip, if they don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals or play for the chip, Harden is walking because he's never been a free agent ever in his career. He's always been traded when they've been up against the deadline and traded to another team and have to start over. So he wants to be like the rest of the NBA players and experience what everybody else experiences.
He was a free agent when he left Oklahoma City and went to Houston. Mm-hmm. And then he decided to sign a Supermax with Houston. He was there for long enough to get the Supermax. He got $250 million or thereabouts, 224 maybe. One time.
Got a lot of bread. Let's put it like this. He got as much bread as he had hair on his chin. Players
want power. And so the issue is, but the thing is, if Philly trades for him, is it a rental? Is it a rental?
Does Philly get better?
No, I think, Philly gets better. Definitely.
Philly can win the chip with Harden.
Yeah.
Philly can win the chip. Yeah.
I mean, and I think Harden, whether he leave Brooklyn and sign with Philly in the offseason or get traded, I think he's gonna stay in Philly because Daryl Morey there. That was his dude in Houston. His GM. He liked Daryl Morey.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
And I would say I would go this far. If they pull the strings, if they pull the trigger, Philly's the favorite to win the chip out of the East. There ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. Oh, with Big MB and James Harden, and they ain't got to give up Harris to get him. Oh yeah, oh my God. I mean, that's a big three for you.
Tobias
Harris, James Harden, and MB, they causing problems.
Woo.
Yeah,
I don't disagree, but I don't know. I think it's something said to developing chemistry and just those kind of things like that teams like Milwaukee already got. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
definitely. Well, all right, you guys, man. Well, thank you guys for rocking with us. We will see y'all this next week, and Super Bowl is coming. We'll holler at y'all. Peace.